I began working on this painting by sketching on a thick canvas using a B2 pencil. This pencil is soft enough to create expressive lines, but doesn't smudge too much as I work. First, I outlined the oval of the face and the line of symmetry to establish precise proportions. Then I added lines for the eyes, nose, and lips, trying to convey a subtle tension in the gaze. I made the eyes slightly elongated to create a sense of depth and mystery. I outlined the lips softly but expressively, as they were to become the focal point of the composition. After that, I defined the lines of the neck and the proposed outline of the hair, which would later blend into the background. I erased unnecessary lines and softened the shadows to leave a sense of purity and space for future color transitions. The sketch became a foundation in which an emotional image was already discernible. Not just a woman's face, but inner strength and an expression of inner light. After completing the sketch, I moved on to the most interesting part, the coloring. For this piece, I used acrylic paints and 3 brushes, a fine one for details, a medium one for the facial features, and a large one for filling in the background and volumetric areas. I started with the background to establish the overall energy of the painting. I applied a mixture of red, blue, and navy blue with a large brush using sweeping strokes, trying to create the effect of inner movement. I chose these colors deliberately. Red symbolizes emotion, blue symbolizes depth of thought, and their interplay creates a sense of tension between passion and calm. Next, I moved on to the face. I made the base skin tone unusual, not beige, but a bright yellow to emphasize the feeling of inner light, as if the figure were illuminated from within. On the cheeks and chin, I added smooth transitions of pink and purple shades, creating a softness and simultaneously contrasting with the yellow. These colors were applied with a medium brush in translucent layers to achieve a sense of liveliness. I highlighted the lips with a vibrant fuchsia-rich, almost neon color. It became the central focus of the composition, a symbol of expression and inner strength. To emphasize the shape of the lips, I used a thin brush and a dark line along the contour, then added warm strokes for subtle volume. I decided to make the eyes special, not identical, but different in color and content. In each pupil, I hit a combination of red and blue, as if 2 worlds were reflected in a single gaze. This technique added symbolism to the painting. The right eye is a reflection of inner passion, the left of cool reason. For the eyelashes and eyebrows, I used a thin brush with thick black paint, trying to convey an expression of strength and concentration. When the main parts of the face were ready, I moved on to the hair. Instead of natural tones, I chose rich dark blue and scarlet strokes that seem to continue the background. They create the effect of merging the figure with space, emphasizing the idea that a person and the surrounding world are interconnected. The hair has no clear boundaries, it flows into the background, like energy emanating from within. The final stage was working on the fine details. I refined the lines of the nose and added subtle strokes to the forehead and cheeks to emphasize facial expressions and depth. Then I drew thin black lines along the folds of the face and lips, reminiscent of the traces of time or emotion. Finally, I added contrasting white highlights to the eyes to give them a more vibrant feel. Altogether, I created the impression that this figure's gaze penetrates the viewer. The resulting work is rich in color, dynamic, and slightly surreal. It combines simplicity of form with an inner drama of color, expressing the conflict between outward calm and inner tension. Critical assessment of the painting. The painting is expressive and emotionally charged. A strong, almost hypnotic gaze has been successfully conveyed. The eyes are the focal point. The color scheme with the yellow face and contrasting lips creates an original effect, making the viewer ponder the character's inner state. The background and hair work well to convey the idea of energetic movement. It seems as if an aura sways around the face. However, there are some areas that could be improved. The transition between the yellow face and the pink lower half could be softened slightly to avoid the feeling of a sharp border. The contours of some lines, for example, the nose and cheeks, could be softened slightly by adding more midtones. The reflections in the eyes could also be enhanced to give them even more vibrancy. Overall, the style of the painting can be defined as expressionism, with elements of pop art and surrealism. The combination of bright, pure colors and clear lines is reminiscent of works in the spirit of modern naive art, where emotion is more important than anatomical accuracy. This work might appeal to those who appreciate bold color, contrast, and the inner strength of an image people, interested in psychology, contemporary art, and the symbolism of personality. The painting expresses not just a face, but a person's inner world, intertwined with passion, reflection, and self-discovery. It's like a mirror of emotions, a little unsettling, a little inspiring, but undeniably vibrant.